you are one of those people that tries to cram everything into the week, you think you can do it all, you think you're going to get some medal or certificate because you're trying to do it all, but not necessarily doing it, then this week's book recommendation is absolutely for you. Welcome to episode 242. My name is Emma Mills and I am committed to helping business owners even who are in the messy middle of going from solopreneur to creating a thriving team so that they can focus on all the things that they do best. I call it focusing on the fun stuff, the things you were born to do. And each episode is a shot in the arm of something that I hope helps you move forward in this pursuit. And so this week's is a book recommendation. I love them because I love reading, and I feel like most of my business owner friends around me love reading as well, whether you're listening to it or reading it. And it's been so pertinent for me this summer, this book, because I very much, when you feel frazzled, when you're spinning a lot of plates, when you're doing a lot of things. And I mentioned the concepts of this week's episode a couple of weeks ago with my fitness journey because I did one thing very well. And I have been hyper aware that me and my ops manager and some of my leadership team, we have a lot to do, and we could be a lot better at moving things forward one at a time. My business mentor, Martin Norbury, calls it landing planes, because an airport only ever lands one plane at once. They don't try and land planes all at the same time, which is actually what most of us do on a daily basis. And so I was recommended this book, and it's called Essentialism by Greg McKeown. And the premise of it is that people who are not essentialists, so they are non-essentialists, they always say things like, I have to do it all, it's all important, how can I get it all done? He gives a really amazing example of those people that you might have a meeting in 10 minutes and it takes you 10 minutes to walk there, but you'll just send this email now, you'll just finish off this, you'll just try and log into that, knowing that you've only got the 10 minutes, but you try and push the time all of the time. And I have been such a culprit for that, of trying to push the needle, but it's getting more in now at the expense of something else. Whereas people who become essentialists, they think of, well, I choose to do this, I'm only going to do one thing, less is much better. What are the trade-offs if I try and do all of this? And these are much, much better questions to ask. And the book Essentialism, I found actually like a massive relief was off my shoulders, because the descriptions that were in there, I saw myself rushing, trying to go like, no problem, I've got it all under here, when actually I don't have it all under here. And there are a couple of key things that I've done since reading the book, and I thought that they might resonate with you. Number one, which has given me the most relief, the most time back, the biggest impact in my week, is I've removed myself from meetings. So as my PA has grown, we've found more and more internal meetings creeping in, whether it's the SOS on a Monday, a meeting with the team leaders, a meeting with the managers, a sales meeting, a marketing meeting, a catch up with my PA, a meeting with the follow-up team, a call debrief. Like, there are a lot that start to creep in as checkpoints for how things are progressing. And what I actually did after reading the book was removed myself from all but 2 of the meetings, because there's one expression that my business mentor Martin said to me, it was only like a month ago, and it has really, really resonated and made a big difference to the way I do things. So he said the problems in your business are always going to find you. So if they don't resolve themselves, because sometimes you get involved in things that were going to resolve themselves anyway. So if something hasn't resolved itself within the business, it's going to come and find you anyway. So it doesn't matter if you don't get to it immediately, if that makes sense. It's kind of like picking up the rock and the creepy crawlies come out. The creepy crawlies were always there. At some point they were going to crawl out and you're going to see them. But it's like the old adage of, deleting all of your emails out of your inbox, because if they're really important, people are going to email anyway and go, why have you not replied to my email? So there was a big sense of relief there for me in that, it's easy to worry about as your business grows bigger, the different parts in it. But he's like, just chill. You need to focus on the one thing that's going to make the biggest impact, because other things happening around there, either your team are going to solve them, or if they don't, they're going to come and find you anyway, and then you can solve them. So I removed myself from all meetings apart from 2 of them. One of them is a meeting with all of the leadership team on a Monday to discuss our scoreboard and what are the key things to focus on that week, because everything else was almost me listening to team members discussing things and me kind of going, yeah, good, or okay, or giving an opinion, and I'm not actually needed in those meetings. So what we've done is, the meetings I remove myself from, there's a summary that gets circulated, I can read it, I can comment on things, but I've got so much time back. And so my big thing that's number one is that I took myself out of all meetings. I took myself out of some client meetings as well. There were some things that I was sitting in on just to make sure they were going well, or to give some feedback. I've took myself out of them, and in the same way, I'm going to get summaries on them. So I've got so much more time back. I only have a meeting on a Monday lunchtime now, and I have the rest of the week to focus on the big project stuff. And number 2, from this book, and also from my fitness journey of being focused on the one thing, I am enjoying very much saying no to many things, whether it's things that are classed as opportunities, events to go to, travel that takes me away time from the one big thing I should be focusing on. Saying no and being much more discerning in my week. Feeling busy is addictive, and feeling like you are doing lots of things and traveling here and doing that and speaking to them and picking, someone picking your brains, and it can feel productive, but when you actually boil it down, a lot of the time, the benefits from having a clear calendar to do focus work on the things that light you up, on the things that are going to make you more money, on the things that are going to attract the dream clients into your life, is actually the sexy work to do, the one thing, and saying no to everything else. So my big one is I removed myself from all meetings to clear my diary. And number 2, I'm saying no to so many things now, even things that in the past I would have gone, oh, but we could just squeeze it in, it sounds like a good opportunity, we could just do it. I've stopped, and I'm giving myself more grace to be discerning and present in the one thing I want to do amazingly well. And the third big impact from this book, which I didn't realize was such a big part of my life, but quickly realized it was, is that as I made these decisions to remove myself from meetings, I immediately got, well, why are you not in that anymore? Is it not important? Or getting pushback from saying no to things, or getting an email about an opportunity saying, actually, that sounds great, but I can only look at it in October. I have stopped worrying, caring. I have stopped letting the impact of other people's thoughts on my decision impact what I'm doing so much, because I know that I really need to focus on this one thing in my business and protect my time and move forward. So putting those things, and it's not like I'm saying no forever, I'm saying for the next 3 months I'm focused on this project, like launching my follow-up, and so all the other exciting, sexy things that are coming up, that's really great, but I'm only going to look at them October time. And it's about managing people's expectations as well, removing myself from internal meetings. I just had to go, do you know what, I spend so much time listening to people talk, it just needs to stop, and I need to protect myself to be able to serve everybody else, my team and my customers and my family and friends and boyfriend, much better. So whether that triggers something for you, like I didn't realize it was such a thing in myself personally, that I thought about, well, I must attend that meeting because they're probably going to be a bit pissed if I don't go, or my team members might not feel they're going to need my sign off and things. A lot of these things were just in my head, and if they weren't, I know I've got a really good reason for why I am moving forward in protecting my time and doing the one thing. So please, if you've still got a trip planned and you want some reading material, you want something to listen to in the car, honestly, Essentialism is absolutely fantastic. And I feel like it's a bit of a drug that at the end of it, you breathe a deep sigh of relief to go, oh yeah, like I get it. I do have permission to protect my time and focus on what is most important. So for this week's episode, please purchase Essentialism. If any of you want to stop feeling less frazzled, less hectic, less overwhelmed, less frustrated, less exhausted, less kind of confused on what number 1 is, then I highly recommend you read this book. And I'll see you next week for episode 243. See you then. Bye-bye.